And I think a lot of you will be able to relate to this because this is something that's not totally out of the realm of what anybody. All right, so there we have it. That is a pile of stuff right there. That is, I don't know how much that weighs, but it weighs a lot, I'm sure. So there's actually more on the other side of the boat. So I just got done tearing out all that crap out of the boat. Let me jump up in here and show you. Hopefully now some of you guys can see actually what I'm talking about. The console, I still got to take the console out, and that's leaving anyway. So, but we have got a huge area here. Now that it's all cleared out for the most part, I got down, I pulled all the floor off. There's more floor over there, so I'm sure we lost a ton of weight out of this boat. But anyway, we've got a big giant floor here. I'll kind of show you what we've got over there. So that's a big open area. This is going to be our cockpit area for catfishing, obviously. The back of the boat, and then up front, I'm going to extend the deck out to probably about that bracing. That'll give me somewhere around like a 8-foot deck. So I wanted to share with you guys a little what the camera probably doesn't show. This is that big center section that cover is. So we're going to probably utilize that for bow storage and other things like that. Like I said, there you can see the fuel tank. That's like a 41 or 42 gallon fuel tank, which is nice because it's going to keep a lot of the weight in the back of the boat. But I'm standing on the foam, which is in good shape. This is what they did. They foamed these boats, and I'm going to leave the foam in because it's not saturated, and it will, you know, deaden quite a bit of sound. So just to give you guys a reference on actually how wide this boat is, I put a tape measure down, and this is actually where the floor is going to be. I'm going to go back with the floor. I'm not going to put any kind of gunnel extension on it, so we're going to have vertical sides, if you will, down. So the inside of this boat, if you can see on the tape right there, is going to be about 90 inches wide. That's 91, 92 across the width there. To just give you guys perspective, say like a big Sea Arc catfishing boat. The bottom width of that boat is right there at 72 inches. Okay, that's 6 foot. That's how they rate boats. If you ever hear like a 2072 or an 1860, that's the bottom width at the chine. That's not the width as it flares out. This boat here flares almost vertical. So we are almost 20 inches wider at the bottom of this boat as you would say like a Pro Cat or some other type of 2072 John boat. This is a big, wide platform. I hope that does perspective for you. So, all right, so check this out. This is what we got going right now. Just went and picked that up. Yes, that is new metal, not old metal, and it is 50/52. So right here, this is 7 sheets of 125 or 1/8 inch material. That's gonna go on our boat. All right, y'all, so here she is in all her beauty. Got her hooked up to the truck. As you can see, I have stripped this boat down about as clean as I can get it, right? I took all the front deck off of it. I was gonna leave part of it, and then I was like, I'm going this far. I'm gonna build the front deck exactly how I want it. So we've got this boat stripped down, everything we can. There's just the flotation left in it, which I'm gonna leave. So the reason I got 1/8 inch material is because I think this flooring here will let me span that. That's only 16 inches, so I think 1/8 inch is going to be just fine to span that. So I splurged for the 1/8 inch because means I didn't have to touch any of this framing. We're going to put aluminum deck through this whole boat. I'm not half-assing this with plywood. We're going to go back with aluminum. We're going to build this boat right. So this boat is as light as it can possibly be right now. So that stack of aluminum back there weighs about 400 pounds. Which just happens to be what one of these 55-gallon drums is going to weigh. I've got an additional 55-gallon drum in there for an additional 400 pounds, which honestly, I think that is about all that I'm going to have in this boat. I'm going to throw 400 pounds of aluminum in it, and then we're going to have just a little bit of, you know, framing, but not much, right? So I think if I overkill it 400 pounds, plus I've got 3 batteries,
right there, which is about the equivalent to one person. I believe that's what we're going to basically put in this boat. I think that's going to be the weight of the boat. Now, why am I doing this? So on the boat I built before, I built reverse chines. And for those of you who don't know, I'll explain it later, but reverse chines on a V-bottom boat, basically, it comes in flat, right? Maybe I can give you a better picture from the back end here. So, okay, we've got a V-bottom boat, right? It's a V. Whenever we go, it's going to want to dig down, which the V is great for cutting the waves, but it also means that the boat is going to push down, which is going to take more water to get it up and going on plane. So what I'm going to do with this boat, also another fact, it's going to do a couple of things actually, but a lot of you are going to point out that V-bottoms tend to be a little bit more tippy this way. So we're going to remedy that by, we're going to come in from that side right there, and we're going to plane out, and I think it's going to be almost a foot. It's going to be quite a bit by the time we plane out. I think I'm just going to maybe just make it a foot. I don't know. That's why we're testing this right now. So where I'm going right now, I'm going to head to the lake. We're going to fill all those tubs up. I got a sump pump and my generator loaded back. We're gonna put essentially 800 pounds of weight in this boat. See how it's sitting. I'm gonna mark and see how much it's gonna draw with a Sharpie, and then we're gonna come up and we're gonna figure out where we want these reverse chines to come up to the boat. I'm gonna weld them in. So this is gonna do two different things. It's gonna make this boat jump up on plane, because it's like a bird taking off. It's gonna have that flat area to where it shouldn't go like this. That boat should just whoosh, straight on, which is exactly how my big blue boat does. It handles perfectly. And I know that's a great hull design. I know I'm not a naval architect. A little jab at the comments there. Some of you OG people, you'll get that, the whole naval architect thing. Anyway, I want to figure out where the water line's going to be. That's why I'm going to go to the lake, and we're going to figure out where that water line's going to be, loaded down with essentially, close to 1,000 pounds in this boat right now. And then I'll have a better idea where I want to end my reverse chines. So anyway, that's what we got going right now. We're getting going on this boat. I want to get this thing done. But this is the first part. I got to know where those reverse chines in. On my other boat, I did 10 foot. It's a 25-foot boat. I'm thinking I'm going to do roughly 10 foot on this boat. It's a 21-foot boat, because I think it's going to plane out a little better. Plus, that should take some of the tippy away from it. But we're going to know how tippy it's going to be whenever we load this sucker down with 800 pounds. Done talking. We'll see you at the lake. All right, so we made it to the lake here. And I just filled up the first barrel. So I marked right there. That's where the water was before I added 400 pounds. And you can see that mark there. That's where the water was before I added 400 pounds. So I actually brought the back of the boat up a little bit by adding that weight, which is, all the weight was on the motor. So it definitely stabilized it a little bit. So I got one barrel right in the dead center. That's 400 pounds. I'm gonna fill up the other one. And like I said, I got 3 batteries. So that's basically a person that I can move around and see. But it definitely took some of the shake out of it. Obviously it's getting heavier, but it didn't really change where the water was. So what I'm looking for is really just to see where the water line is, as far as up underneath there, so I can see where I put those reverse chines. We'll fill that next one up. Alright, so here we go. We got 1,000 pounds sitting in this boat right now. There's 2 full 55-gallon drums, 3 batteries. So let me show you what I got going on here. I did some figuring, did some stuff. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Sun is going down, but I got it done. So anyway, we'll start here. So this first mark here, you can see that's the boat sitting empty, which obviously there's nothing in the boat, so the back end's going to be sitting lower in the water. Then as I add water to the front, or weight rather, it's going to push it up. So anyway, first line there is empty. The second line below that, that is with 1,000 pounds in this boat, centered, okay? And then the very bottom line, which you guys see, that's with 1,000 pounds still in the boat, but 200 pounds that's moved forward, basically. Or you know, kind of acting as a person to be fishing off the front deck. So what I've got here is, like I said, you can see I tried to position this kind of where like centrally located. Obviously the weight is going to be distributed throughout, but I tried to do as best I could. So roughly here is going to be where the console is, and then, you know, on a bow fishing boat or a boat like this, obviously the majority of your weight's going to be forward most of the time. So I put the second barrel here because obviously the front deck is going to take up some material, so it's going to have some weight up there. And like I said, there's 3 car batteries, which, you know, is essentially the weight of one person that I can kind of move around and just see. So anyway, that's what we got going here. But what I was looking for with these reverse chines, so like I said, if you can picture a flat plane going into the water, whenever this boat drops down on plane or tries to come out, that water is going to force it flat. Basically, it's going to force this boat flat rather than make it dig, which takes longer to get on plane. If you can keep your boat flat, you're going to be on plane super quick. So we've got the V obviously to cut the waves, but I want to be able to get this boat up and going in some shallow water. So that's why we're doing these reverse chines. So anyway, I've got kind of some markings here. So this is the water contact point to the outside edge. For the majority of what I've done, I filled it at 400 pounds, I filled it at 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds, and it's pretty close to centering right there. So I've got 8-foot sheets that I'm dealing with here, and I'd like to keep it around that. I don't want to splice them if I don't have to. So I made some markings here. So that next line there that you see, that's where the water line is set in about 6 inches. And like I said, I'm thinking about doing a 1-foot strip on each side, quite wide. I did 6 inches on my other boat, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do wider on this one. And then obviously right there you can see that's where the water contact point is 12 inches. So somewhere in this area would kind of be that sweet spot to kind of get the most out of my you know, get the most out of my reverse chines, as well as this is where your water is then gonna break, you know, whenever you're in rough water. So it's gonna break right there and shoot off. I've seen it, I can see it in my other boat. That's gonna be kind of right there anyway, where you're gonna be standing there driving for the console. So anyway, that's kind of what we're looking for. The boat is just stupid stable right now. I can stand on the gunnel, and you know, one person stand on the gun. The deflection is probably 2 inches or so, but I mean it's pretty dang steady for what it is. So I've scratched in the water line all the way up through, so we'll have something to go off of whenever we get home. We can kind of snap lines and do other things there. But yeah, this is what I was looking for by putting all this weight. Like I said, there's 1,000 pounds in that boat right now, and we've got a lot of the freeboard left. So it's kind of nice because it's kind of like fishing out of a raised deck boat without having a raised deck. You know, these big sided boats. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Anyway, like I said, it's cool to see it from an outside point of view. I'm gonna put a level on it, and we'll see how much water we're actually drawing. But I bet we're no more than 8 inches right now of drawing water. So this boat will definitely float in you know, less than a foot of water. So it is just crazy flat though. This boat is flattened out perfect, which is, you know, obviously something you kind of want in a boat like this. You don't want it to be sitting in a big rake all the time. So anyway, this is what I wanted to do. So anyway, got the generator sitting there, gonna pump out 110 gallons of water again. It doesn't take too long with that little sump pump I got, but I'm gonna pump that water back out, take her home, and then we'll have another look at it. But I want to do these reverse chines right now because I can still lift the boat up. It's not too heavy for me to kind of lift it up side by side. I'm not gonna flip this boat like I did my other one. That was just a pain. All right, so anyway, that's what we've got. Science. We're doing science. So pretty cool. Man, that sucker's stable though. I'm very, very pleased. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, don't go with a V-bottom. It's gonna be, you know, tippy." And I can tell you, it's all about displacement. It just is. I've seen it. you can argue at people until they're blue in the face, but it's displacement what makes shallow draw as well as stability. And this boat is, you know, 86 inches wide or 84 inches wide or something. I mean, it's a foot wider than a 2072, so it's gonna have the displacement. And whenever you weight her down to make her heavy, it gets real stable real quick. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, that's all for now. I'm gonna pump out this water. We're gonna go home, and then we're gonna be burning wire. We're gonna be welding on this sucker here for too long. I'm excited. It's gonna be a cool platform. I'm not actually going level. I'm going down even a little bit, and then I'm extending the side of the boat down. There it is. Didn't die.